Welcome. In this lecture, we would do the summary of Down to Earth. Now, the first section talked about canine carriers. It talks about the students of Delhi who are there to protect the animals and how this Desi Club initiative is started, how they have been working, they are being funded, and they are having the funds from the companies under the CSR. There is also a fund for sterilization which has come from grants Enactus members received from the Pollination Project, which is a global funding platform. The next important thing, the most important for this coverage, is the union budget. Now, union budget we had already covered in detail in our previous lecture. The idea here was that this talked about Amrit Kal and the next 25 years, or the India at 75. It did not talked about the next promises for the coming year, but at the same time, the doubling of the farmers' income, which was one of the crucial targets for 2022, has not been discussed. If we talk about the fast facts, we can see there has been a significant dip in the market intervention schemes and price support schemes. As per the allocation, we have seen a significant decline in consumer affairs, PDS section, and also the total subsidies which is given to the farmers. But there has been an increased focus on strengthening the operations and the management under PDS and fortification of rice. Coming on to heavy industries, definitely there is a boost and a higher allocation has been given for FAME vehicles and hybrid manufacturing in India. If we talk about environment, a significant increase has been registered in Mission on Himalayas, coastal mission, and there has been significant reduction in the hazardous management, hazardous substance management. A significant increase in Ayushman Bharat, the Ayushman Bharat, which is the Jan Arogya scheme of the government. There has been no change in Atal or rejuvenation of the urban areas, but there has been a significant impact going in the Swachh Bharat mission. Similarly, for the Jal Shakti mission, there has been a huge input. The Jal Shakti mission rural water mission is again at a high go, but interlinking projects, there has been a significant decrease in the budget allocation. Similarly, if we see onto the overall allocations in rural area, a dip has been seen in the rural ministry and only in the Sadak Yojana, where we have the Gati Shakti Bharat and the infrastructure projects being boosted. This is the only sector where a boost in allocation has been received. Solar grid has registered a significant increase in the Kisan Urja Suraksha, which is the Kusum scheme. Coming on to the next is the New Star system. Now, New Star system promotes state agencies to check that they don't give hasty environmental clearances for the project. Now, this system has been given by the states, and this is under the EIA notification 2006. 1 point is deducted if the average time drops to 105 days, and no point is awarded if the turnaround time is 120 days or more, or 4 months or more. Now, this agency ensures that there has been a speedy dispersal which can be seen. Now, 2006 environmental impact assessment notification we have already done. The projects are into two categories depending on the health and the environment. The first category pose higher risk than category B and are cleared by the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. Category B are cleared by the state agencies based on the state expert committee, and then there are 4 steps for the environmental clearance in category B. First is the screening process, where the components are screened, the project is screened. The next is the scoping step, where agencies find the term of reference. The third is preparing a draft report for EIA. The next is the appraisal, where the commitment actually is either recommended or rejected. So there are various parameters based on the various weightages this has been given. Now, there are various states and the environmental clearance projects, the number of applications received across the states, the list has been jotted down. Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan have the highest number. Then there is repeated dilution. EIA is being viewed as the bottleneck by the industry, and there have been various procedures to check it. Then the battery technology. Though we say that battery makers are moving beyond lithium, we believe that sodium is more abundant than lithium but is considered as safer. Sodium ion batteries fall short in terms of energy density and therefore their potential use in electric vehicles is reduced. Lithium share is very low in nature, it's only 0.01%. US has highest reserves for soda ash. Sodium can be found in seawater and mined through soda ash. So United States, Turkey and Botswana have the highest proportion. A postdoctoral research from Princeton University says that sodium batteries use organic electrolyte which are flammable, can catch fire, and they can be modified to make the batteries much more safer. So vanadium is again one of the minerals which is used with a higher installed capacity as of now. So if we look onto the power play in terms of safety, lithium has higher issues in terms of safety. Aluminium air is the safest. It is found in bauxite and many minerals. Sodium ion is found in seabed or soda ash, and lithium is found only in limited areas, require mining, and is therefore expensive as well. Then we also have another technologies which are multi-ion technology. Raw materials are used from various regions, and from there is parallel flow of negative and positive ions. Liquid metal is another one which is under review still. However, vanadium redox flow is important, and vanadium is naturally found in 65 minerals. The safety level is good. It is actually really much safe in terms of explosiveness and flammability. Then is Indian state company, the state-owned company Indian Oil entered with a venture with Fini Energy to develop aluminium air batteries. India is fifth in terms of global bauxite. We have Gegadyne Energy Labs which are working to use for mobile phones, laptops and electric vehicles the multi-ion technology. So we talked about multi-ion technology. Similarly, Reliance is talking about liquid metal battery technology. So we are focusing on various ways of technology which we can move forward with. India's forest cover has been recently given in the Forest Report 2021. We have seen that nearly 28% of the forest is recorded as forest area, of which only 12% is the dense forest, and the remaining is relatively very less dense. So the forest cover in India, we can say most of them falls in the moderately dense and the open forest area, and the percentage change over the years from 2019 to 2021 inside the RFA or the reserve forest area or the outside the reserve forest area, the change has been very meager. It is more or less the same. Okay, also if we talk about some of the major trees, we can see, so most of the proportion is under forest which are moderately dense or open forest. So open forest is 10 to 40% forest cover, moderate forest 40 to 70, and very dense 70 and above. Then we have the top growing trees which are sal, teak, pine. Then you have mango, neem and mahua as the common species that grow in India. We also have numerous paper forests. Now 10% of the tree canopy density, we say that the forest cover, there has to be a land of more than 1 hectare with 10% tree canopy density. And then we have the classification as dense, moderately dense or open dense. Scrub is where the density is less than 10% and non-forest is not included in above the classification. Then the forest area can be reserve, protected or unclassified forest area. So all these definitions and terms you need to know. I repeat again, the forest cover is classified as forest only if land of 1 hectare has at least 10% canopy density, 10 to 40% is open, 40 to 70 is moderately dense, and more than 70% is dense forest. Now there are various agenda for forest. We have the 3 agenda, which is remaining the very dense and significant forest area as a critical reserve, then planning to cut and plant again the forest with communities, and the license raj on trees outside the forest. Also we are focusing on stocking the carbon. So how carbon is stored in the biomass can be utilized. So forest survey has only calculated the woody growing stock and extrapolated the vegetation to get an idea of the forest carbon. So only stock that it takes into account is the woody growing stock. So again a very important topic. So some of the statistics again mentioned in the chart here. Then we have the next is organic and natural farming. We have the Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana, which is started in 2015-16. There were various reasons which led to hindrance in it, which was lack of conviction, limited consensus, tendency to evaluate non-chemical agricultural practices based on yield. Then we have a list of species which have been grown under the Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana or the organic farming. The list has been given here. So better yield has to be suggested for the same. Also, we need to understand the region of Kashmir Valley, where we have fertile soil which is known as Karewa, and these Karevas are nearly 13,000 to 18,000 meter thick deposit of alluvial, which is ideal for growing saffron, almond, apples and several other cash crops. Kashmir saffron got a GI tag in 2020. Then we have the Pir Panjal range, where we have the natural drainage for nearly 5,000 square kilometers, and Karevas are not only responsible for holding fossils but are center for human civilizations as well. They are now being excavated under various studies. Pulwama, Badgam and Baramulla districts are the major areas where Karevas have been extensively found. So residents here have been working on the topography, checking the illegal mining in those areas, and here is where we have the proposed region from Gandarbal to Pulwama and how Karevas have been exploited along the ring road which has been planned in this region. Then in Madhya Pradesh, farmers have come together regarding the higher price of the groundnut. There have been various challenges, and Shivpuri district has seen fourfold increase in groundnut collection in the past 3 years under Srijan, and this has been the statistics. Srijan is the self-reliant initiative through joint action, which is a Delhi-based non-profit organization which has started the project here in the 3 villages and has seen a significant increase in the production. There have been possibilities for exploring more areas in the similar way. Women farmers have been coming forward, but one of the major drawbacks is they own a small holding and are often cheated by intermediaries. Similarly to this, we have various other ways which have been explored. For example, Brahmaputra is known for its rivers, streams, wetlands and creeks, and fishing has been one of the most important studies there. Now, Mapping India's Climate Vulnerability Report, which came in 2021, it has been observed that Assam would be one of the most vulnerable states in regards to the climate change. So fishery takes a huge toll of it. So fishing community has been facing the challenges of tools, gears, nets, and then invasive species like water hyacinth have been affecting the region. Then we have some of the studies here. Jakoi, which is the triangular basket or the gear which is used by women fishers. Paroi is the size which is 2 to 4 meters and small water bodies used for fishing. Kheiwali Jal is the cast net which is thrown into the water body for encircling the probable fish bearing areas. Fansi Jal is around a long net which is used in the water bodies. Polo is another plunge basket which is used. So those are some of the important studies. Then we have the India's patent waiver proposal for the vaccinations. That was already one of the topics of discussion. Seagulls are the migratory birds which come from Siberia to India every time in the month of October, seen near the regions of Yamuna till March. They are having large brains and have a capability to adapt to weather quickly. The natural food has significantly reduced due to industrialization in these areas, and therefore seagulls are now seeing cities as their permanent homes. We have seen a huge number of gulls in the urban areas of UK and Italy, where the population has been significantly increased. Nusantara, which is the archipelago, which is a term used by Indonesia, and we have the new capital which is being decided in the region of East Kalimantan. We have covered a separate lecture on the new capital of Indonesia, a very important topic. Ana, which is a tropical storm, hit the Madagascar region and the proceedings have been severe. The fundings to restore the Great Barrier Reef has been into action, and climate activists have been working for the same. The oil spill in Ecuador affected the Amazon rainforest and again was in news. Then we have one of the important things where where a huge number of grey pelicans in Srikakulam district which were affected, which are in the near threatened category of IUCN classification. Maharashtra government again has given a dedicated water supply project in the Kalyan Taluka for the water issues in 15 of the villages, and Greek government has faced a no confidence motion for poor management of a snowstorm which affected the region in the last month. So those were some of the other important highlights, but this edition mainly focused on the union budget, the forest report 2021, and the star ratings, so and the battery technology. The various battery technology is extremely important and a highly probable question. I would like to go through this chart again and just remember it by heart, because this is one of the very probable questions for your UPSC prelims this time. So this table where you have the lithium ion, sodium ion, aluminium air, multi-ion liquid metal, and vanadium redox technology. What are those? How are they used? Where they are formed? And what are the issues with flammability and explosiveness? An extremely important topic to be covered. Thank you.